What's up, everybody? I'm Josh the Carnivore. Thank you for taking the time out to watch this video. Due to some extreme rain in my area, my basement where I work out is flooded, so we're not going to get a chance to get down there and have a workout today. But I've received a few questions from people asking to talk about the carnivore diet and what I eat, and I thought I would do that paired up with us cutting up this slab of meat, because this is how I save some money each week, each month on keeping the carnivore diet affordable. I buy a lot of hamburg meat, so that's the cheapest way it can go. I do eat a lot of chicken livers and eggs and stuff like that that's fairly inexpensive, but I do love my steaks. So what I did is at BJ's, they sell these big slabs. This is a beef loin strip. It's about 12 pounds. Ended up being $7.99 a pound, and the total for this entire hunk is 95 bucks. So basically what I do is I unpackage it, make a nice clean fresh cut here, and then I take and I use the knife as my measuring, so it ends up being about a 1-inch steak, and I just keep cutting them until they're gone. And we got a nice even amount of steaks. I package them into 3s because that's how many are in my family. I wrap them up tight in saran wrap and I stick them in the freezer and pull them out as I need. So that's one thing. If you're new to the carnivore diet, the general premise is that you are eating within the animal kingdom. You know, chicken, fish, elk, bison, beef, whatever, eggs, fish, all that stuff. So basically anything that's an animal that you know that people eat, go ahead and eat. Some people include dairy. I do. I like cheese. I don't really have a problem with dairy, but some people choose to include it or not. There's a lot of loose interpretations, but as far as I'm concerned, I do have coffee. I do use some seasonings, and I incorporate a little sauerkraut in my diet, and I like to experiment and see what's working for me and what's not. So I don't like to be a purist by any means, is even with exercise or my diet. I think you should be learning to understand what works and what doesn't work for you and your body to develop into the perfect plan for you, or what's working the best for you. So if adding if you don't like meat, that's fine. You just got to get sufficient protein from good sources. Whatever those sources are you choose to do, I say, hey, go for it. If you're feeling your best, then that's what's right for you. But for me, I've seen fantastic results. I feel great, and I love steak. So it's a winner for me. I incorporate some sauerkraut because I like to have a little contrast in textures and some flavors sometimes. Not all the time, but I do. And I like to keep it as simple as possible. I do eat a tremendous amount of hamburg meat because it's the most affordable way to get beef in all the time. And we do eat some chicken along the way. And I love my bacon. So that's pretty much the gist of the carnivore diet. It's very simple, very basic. Depending on what you're trying to accomplish with your diet, if you're trying to cure yourself or relieve some symptoms on something, you should probably be strict. You know, do lion diet, carnivore diet strict for 30, 60, 90 days. See how you're feeling. And then if you're starting to notice some results, stick with it. And then eventually, once you start getting to the point where you feel pretty good, start testing the water. Start maybe incorporating one thing at a time. That way you can tell what things are working for you and what aren't. That way, I recently tried to reincorporate some nuts, and I found out quickly that those were not for me, even though I love them. But that may not be the case for you. So I think the biggest thing is to be honest with yourself. It's different if you're eating for pleasure than eating for your health, right? So what works for me? Simple. Steak, beef, and chicken. little bit of bacon. I love my coffee, so I'm gonna have my coffee. I do incorporate some yogurt and some sauerkraut and some other things. But really, the gist of it is, if you can eliminate the ultra processed foods and the sugars, you're probably already winning. So depending on what you gotta do with your health, the biggest thing is to be honest with yourself. Don't get brainwashed into any one of these dogmas and you found the ultimate thing. Because what works for one person may not be exactly how it works for you. So be honest with yourself and experiment. So let's get some steaks cut up here. I figure basically what will happen is, in the package of the pre-cut steaks that they have at the store, right at BJ's, the same cut of steak was $8.99 a pound, so you're basically saving $1 per pound over 12 pounds, so it's a $12 savings here, so it's about a steak and a half of savings. But if you're eating the carnivore diet, you're going to be eating regularly, which we do. In a family of 3 here, we eat a good amount of steak each week, hamburger, chicken. We don't have a ton of fish, but we're going to incorporate more fish. But that's basically what the gist of the diet is, to try to figure out how foods are affecting you in your daily time, in your daily life, I should say. So what I like to do is I take, because the first end is kind of a weird cut, it's not flat, I like to cut that off and start with a flat edge. Some other people asked if I work out every single day. The answer is no. I try to get in whatever I can because I feel my best when I do work out. But it's same as the diet concept, right? You have to be able to judge and see how these things are feeling. If you need to rest, you need to rest. That's different from, I don't feel like working out today. That's a different scenario, right? But if you just don't have the energy to do it, that's your body telling you stuff, that you need a rest day, or you got to do something else. But I will say, like, there's many times where I don't feel like working out, and I go down, I do my warm-up, and then I end up having the best workout that I've had in a long time, because I got going, got the blood going, get excited and get after it. So basically what I do is I take and I use the blade as a measuring. I like a nice consistent 1-inch steak. That way when I'm cooking them, it's easier for me. The other nice thing is, when they package your steaks already cut, they run them through the meat tenderizer. So that might be another benefit that you don't want, because they're possibly cross-contaminating your steak every time they run it through that machine of over and over again with other cuts of meat and everything. So like I said, I take a measure and I cut this down 1 blade length at a time, and then I stack them in 3s, and that'll be a 1 meal for my entire family. Another person asked me what my goal is for this channel. Well, to be honest, I didn't really think we were going to get this far. I was just, as an experiment, seeing if there was going to be any response to me sharing my workouts and the way I eat. I do a lot more workouts than sharing the way I eat, but I enjoy doing it. And I hope I'm helping somebody figure out their own health and fitness situation, or at least using some of these tidbits that I have to better their health. And that was the goal of the channel, is a little experiment, something I could do, burpees, but I'm 48 years old, and right now I want to try to see if in the next year or so, I would like to see if I can put on some lean muscle mass, kind of stay lean, but put on some mass at 48 years old without incorporating a ton of carbohydrates, staying with my version of the carnivore diet, which, like I said, has a few other nuances in there to make it my own. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If you can handle dairy, handle it. That cheese is awesome. So when I buy at BJ's, they usually sell like the big tube of Hamburg meat, which will also save you some money. What I like to do is I take that big tube home, I have a little burger press, and I'll press them into 5 packs of like half to quarter pound burgers, and I'll do the same thing. I'll stack them up in saran wrap, nice and tight so they don't get freezer burnt, and then I just pull out a pack of 5, because that's what we cook when we have our family meal, and it's ready. It's easy. I just thaw it out, bam, we're ready to go. Another thing that gets asked a lot is, how frequent do I need to work out? Well, I try to get at least 3 to 4 workouts in a day. In a week. I prefer 4 if I can. Some are more intense than others. But that's really a matter of seeing how you feel, like how fast you can recover. Since I've been on carnivore, this volume of high protein and fat, my recovery has increased. So I feel like I can work out more because my body's healing faster. Which brings up another point. Some of the benefits that I've noticed since going carnivore. Some of the benefits that I've noticed is within probably 2 weeks, I stopped snoring. That was probably the very first thing. The second thing is, I originally started this because I was starting to get high blood pressure. I was up around 140-ish sometimes, 130, 140, and we were starting to talk about keeping an eye on it. So since then, I bought a blood pressure monitor. I've been working out, heavy intensity. I've been doing the carnivore diet, and we've normalized the blood pressure. So that I can say is a success. Another thing I noticed is less dandruff, or no dandruff now, and a few other skin issues that have seemed to resolve themselves. So there's another added benefit. I definitely have steady increased energy all day. I don't have that afternoon where you can get kind of hangry, which I often would. Especially if I try to skip lunch at that point. Now I have like pretty steady, consistent energy all the time. Mood's better. Always feel pretty good now. I would say, I don't know, it's very consistent energy. There's no crash. Before, when I would eat the standard American crap diet, I would definitely have that 3 o'clock kind of like hangry, kind of crashing, need to do something to get a little pick me up. But I don't have that anymore. If I don't eat, it's not a big deal. My body's so used to working off of fat that it's really not an issue. I can keep going as long as I need to go. So increased energy, no dandruff, stop snoring, blood pressure is normalized. Those are the main things. Faster recovery from my workouts. I'm 48 years old. I'm still hitting new PRs pretty frequently now. I won't say all the time, but definitely frequently hitting PRs. Especially lately, I've really pushed the intensity, and I feel like the changes come slowly, but like in increments. Like all of a sudden, I went from 122 Navy SEALs in 20 minutes, which was like a blistering pace for me at that time. And then the last time that I did this, I hit 140. That's a big jump. There was nothing really I changed other than being consistent and making a decision in my head that I really wanted to hit that PR that day. And that's what it took, and that's what I did. And I felt like I could actually keep going. I mean, I don't know if I could have gone at much faster pace, but I wasn't out of gas. I could have kept going on that one. But that's what I'm gonna do. I just wanted to touch on a few things of what I do with the carnivore diet. Right there, I put them in stacks of 3. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 meals. And this is gonna be my dinner tonight. So that'll be the 5th meal. But we got 4 solid meals, 1 steak for each member of my family on a different night. So this will be good for almost a month, because we're gonna mix in our other meals here and there. I'm gonna wrap some of these up tight, leave a little out for this week's meals, but I'm gonna wrap them nice and tight so they don't get freezer burnt, and I'll pull these out as we need them. All right, so that's the goal for the channel. We are going to see what we can do as far as adding some lean muscle on this year. We're gonna get started right away. As soon as the flood is over in my basement, we'll get cranking right back on that. But this is how I save a couple bucks on the carnivore diet. Eat whole foods, avoid ultra processed, and become the best version of yourself. Get fit, pick an exercise, pick some kind of workout that you can do consistently. I appreciate everybody that likes, comments, and subscribes and watches these videos. Thank you very much. Keep coming back as we grow. That's the target 24. At 48 years old, we can see if we can get lean, put on some muscle, and be a healthy, happy person for 2024, and inspire some people to take their health and fitness into their own hands. And that's the goal of the channel. And I hope somebody is finding some help and some inspiration in these videos. That's why I'm doing them. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.